Good afternoon, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. We are at property address 1934 Smith Drive here in Woodburn, located at the front of the house. Smack dab in front of the front door here, you've got a brass cover plate. Underneath it, it's a 4-inch PVC cap, but the line itself is actually 3-inch. It necks down. We're going to check the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. Water is running. Off we go here. You've got another, it's a flush set 3-inch ABS cap at the front right corner of the patio. And I describe all this if you're standing in the street facing the front of the home. That is going to be for your storm system. We just transitioned there over to 4-inch 3034 PVC. Anyway, easy way to tell, I mean, I've already given you the rundown here, but if you knock on that little cap with something hard, you'll hear the sound echo through the little curb ports where the storm drain empties into the road. In case you ever get them mixed up, it's kind of an easy little trick I figured out years and years ago. Anyway, so far here, line is looking good. Got a little bit of grease buildup in the line. My camera is doing a decent job at busting a lot of it loose. And it's not an outrageous amount of grease buildup to begin with. So I mostly point it out for educational purposes, especially if you're new to home ownership. You want to try and keep as much cooking oil and grease from going down that kitchen sink as possible. It's a very common problem, and it is a massive contributing factor to a lot of blockages and backups that occur. After 13 years and almost 25,000 sewer scopes, I've done a lot of drain cleaning. What I have found is that the thick grease buildup is often more problematic and concerning than a lot of structural issues are. For instance, bellies in a sewer line, which often get really nitpicked during real estate transactions. Even offset joints, things like that. What I've found is that it's often a combination of something like a belly or an offset combined with thick grease buildup and improper items. It's often that combination that results in a blockage. So it's a very good maintenance item to keep up with. We're going to go locate the camera head here really quick. We're at the main lateral, and then we'll pull back once the line's drained. All right, located the camera head successfully. Overall, it terminates out on Smith Drive right out front here. Line does a pretty straight trajectory overall. It does veer a little bit off course. It zigs and zags. Just to the right of the stairs that lead up to the road. I'm sorry, up to the front door. You've got a secondary cleanout access right at the curb. Sorry, I'm messing up all my words here. Right before the sidewalk. So where that walking path that goes up to the front door meets the sidewalk, you'll see a steel cover plate there. Underneath that is a secondary cleanout access for the sewer line. So by the time you reach that cleanout, the line is basically run straight off into the road from that point. Overall, pretty straight shot, which is an ideal configuration. The fewer the turns on the line, the better. It's just less pinch points for blockages to happen. Anyway, you can see what's left over here on the line. And my camera's busted up a lot of this. The little chunks there in the flow line and stuff, my camera has broken loose from the flow line. So over the next couple days, with just natural water flow, most of what you're looking at right here will be gone. But it's something you want to be mindful of, because if you're a household that does a lot of deep fat frying and stuff like that, that's where you want to be extra careful. It's when you're putting real quantity down the line is where that buildup happens. Thin little coating of PAM spray, stuff like that, hot water and soap handles just fine. But my rule of thumb, I tell most people, if you've got enough grease or oil on your pans that if you were to turn the pan sideways, it were to run off the pan in beads, basically flow off the pan, it's at that point you want to mitigate. You want to wipe it out with a paper towel once the pan cools down, or pour the grease into a glass jar. You just want to keep it from going down your line. I have seen people get inch-thick grease buildup in 1 year in a brand new construction house. I see it frequently. It causes a lot of buildup to accrue on top of it, and it makes it very much more likely that when your kiddos plug the line up with a bunch of balls of toilet paper, which often will break loose on their own without you even realizing it happened, that grease acts like glue. And so you know, a little toilet paper blockage, run-of-the-mill thing like that might break loose after a few feet of pipe fill up behind it, can now withstand 30, 40 feet of pipe filling up behind it, it's much more likely to result in a full-on backup. So I just turned the camera around there and went backwards to the foundation wall. That's ABS pipe there on the inside of the house. Nice looking line end to end. Structurally looks fantastic, and really quite a clean sewer line relative to most homes. I don't want to be beating up the home too much on the grease buildup. That's honestly a pretty good looking sewer line there. So as far as cleanliness goes, we have good flow end to end. The ABS, PVC, and 3034 portions of the line there, all in good condition, have good flow and are functioning properly at this time. And everything beyond where I stopped there, going back into the house, all that's exposed piping that you can see with your eyeballs. The home inspector takes a look at that stuff for leaks and whatnot.